Hey everyone, it's April. Today we are talking about moving to Charlotte, North Carolina. So I have put together the ultimate guide to moving to Charlotte. We're going to talk today about all the things that you absolutely must know before you move to the Charlotte market. We're going to cover so many good things today. You're going to definitely want to take notes. You're going to probably want to pause the video at certain times so that you can rewind or re-listen to something. Don't be afraid to rewatch this video. It will help you as you are making your transition. So my name is April and I manage the Villines Property Group with my husband, Jeff. And we are the #1 relocation team in the Charlotte area. So we're very excited to help people relocate. We relocated here in 2011 and we have loved living here ever since. And it's really truly become our home. So we know a lot about it as we are real estate agents, obviously, but we also are passionate about where we live. So we have taken the time to really learn about the area and try new things and go to new places. And we're going to tell you all of our secrets today. So we're going to touch on 4 things today. We're going to cover roads and distance getting to work, right? That's like one of the key things we get questions about. How do I get to work? And then we're going to do the main areas and the lifestyle. So what are the main city areas that people want to live in? And what are they looking for lifestyle-wise? What can you expect in each of these areas? Finding where you want to build your roots is probably the hardest part because you're maybe buying a house, you might be renting for a little while, but you need to find your lifestyle and where does that fit within the city of Charlotte? And we're going to help you do that. We're going to cover pros and cons, including taxes. Ooh, nobody likes to talk taxes. I'm not a tax specialist, but I am going to cover a couple of basic things that will help you in making a selection on where you're going to live. And then we're going to use niche.com to talk about the best areas to live. I can't steer you into a certain area. If you call me and say, look, I want to live in a low crime area and I want to have the best schools, where do I need to go? Or I want to live in the best area, tell me where I need to be. Your idea of best area might be very different from mine. And so we can't really gauge that. We utilize third-party resources that have done studies on areas to tell us where to go. So I'm going to guide you through niche.com and what they do. They're one of the more reputable websites that you can use to get this information about cities and neighborhoods alike. All right, awesome. So let's move on. We're looking at a map here today of the Charlotte area. So if you see here, I feel like a weatherman up here. If you see the Charlotte metro area here, you can even see Lake Norman up here. It looks very small on this map, which it's not. And we've got a lot of the surrounding city, including this border here, which comes in, which is South Carolina. So this piece right here, we're going to talk about that as well. But I'm going to cover some of the areas for you because I wanted to talk roads. When you are in the city, you're going to use certain roads to get to and from work. Fortunately, there's not a lot of toll roads in the Charlotte area, but there is one up in Lake Norman that the entire road is not a toll road, but they do have express lanes that you can pay to jump into the express lanes to get down to where you're going faster. It is based by exit. One of the interesting things is it's through NC Quick Pass. So if you're going to move here and you think that you will utilize that toll road pretty often, I'd suggest you reach out to NC Quick Pass and consider getting a transponder on your car. The reason for that is these tolls that are charged, they're going to vary depending on how heavy the traffic is, what time of day it is, and they can get pretty pricey. So it might be worth your while to use the transponder, which gives you a discount, and you can load money onto your account and it just stays there and it refills as you go. So it's a very convenient way to do it. This road is up here and it runs from Mooresville all the way down to just into Charlotte, just barely into Charlotte. So that is the only one that you'll see. And remember, the entire freeway, I-77, is not a toll road, just that one little section up there. Now, I-77 does run here down through this corridor, and then it kind of juts off to the side there. So this is your main north-south route that's going to take you from Lake Norman or even Virginia, if you're coming all the way down from there, straight down into South Carolina. It's one of the main thoroughfares and it is very, very busy. So you definitely want to consider your time when you're working with that. The next one to think about is this I-85 here, which kind of comes up and it goes down, and then it goes like this and shoots way up this way. So that is the I-85 corridor, which is sort of east-south, but not really. Yeah, okay. So I-85 though can take you from the Gastonia area over here and Belmont, Mount Holly, all the way through up to Harrisburg, Concord, Kannapolis, and then even up as far north as Greensboro. So it'll take you all the way up through that way. The next freeway we're going to look at is this one here. This is the 485 loop. So this 485 is used a lot for commuting and travel. It's very easy to utilize. It's a very wide 4-lane road for the most of it. There are a couple parts where it's 2 lanes each direction, but most of it is 4 lanes each way. So you can get on there. You don't have a ton of traffic on there. It can be more congested, but it's usually pretty free flowing unless you have accidents to consider. So that entire loop can obviously take you anywhere you need to go in the city, and you could see from the I-77 corridor and the I-85 that you could bring this in, jump on 485 and get down to your destination pretty quickly. So we utilize this loop quite a bit, Jeff and I do, and we don't usually have a problem. While, again, it can be very busy at times, it's usually moving, which is nice. All right, so then the next one we want to talk about is our 2427. This goes all the way out this way. So why is this an important route? This is where all the growth is going. When you have the congestion in Charlotte, everything's moving outwards. So as we grow, these roads are more important to get out towards the suburbs of where people are living. And if you are looking for a cost-effective way to live, sometimes you have to really get a little ways out before you can find a price point that's affordable. So this 2427 takes you out through Midland, Locust, Red Cross, and ends up in Albemarle, and then even goes on from there. It's a really easy drive. They are building out this way. There's some construction out here, right in this section, right now where they're widening the road. It feels like they're getting ready for the growth. So I think that's an excellent thing to keep in mind. It will also take you all the way down to Lake Wiley, which is right down here. So, right, South Carolina. All right, so one of the other roads I want to tell you about is 16. So 16 is coming down from the Denver part of the lake all the way down into Charlotte. So 16 is a pretty important road. A lot of people that live up in Denver and Westport Golf Club are going to take 16 down to get to work, and then it can turn all the way down in here into 601, which continues on from this point. You become 601, and you can head down into Lancaster, South Carolina. Sorry, that's a little off, but it goes down like this. Monroe, Lancaster, South Carolina, and some of the other areas there. So now we've got like a baseball looking spider. So those are the most important roads to remember when you're in the Charlotte area. We do see oftentimes where people will jump on one, flip over to this one, head up north this way. It's pretty commonplace. The last one I'm going to tell you about is actually right here across the base of Lake Norman. This goes from Denver, Huntersville, all the way through Concord. This is 73. So that's a pretty important road. It's 2 lanes. It's not any 2 lanes, 1 lane each direction, but it's not anything that's super, super congested, but it can get you easily from one side of the lake to the other, or to an alternate freeway. Like you could take your 16 to 73 to 77 if there's an accident. So it's important to know where you can go. So let's talk a little bit about driving distances. So when you're living here, one of the first things you want to know is how long is it going to take me to get to work? That's great that you tell me all the roads, April, but how am I actually going to get where I need to be? So I did a slide for you on all of the destinations, the majority of the ones, to give you kind of a point of interest. So if you're in inner Charlotte, you're really averaging 20 to 30 minutes to get anywhere you want to be. That's kind of average, depends on traffic again, but gives you an idea. Huntersville into Charlotte. Now Huntersville is the base of Lake Norman, and getting from Huntersville to Charlotte, we're looking at 15 to 20 minutes without a ton of traffic or a bunch of accidents or anything like that. Morrisville is a little bit further north of Huntersville, also on the east side of Lake Norman. And that one is going to take you a little longer, 30 to 40 minutes to get into Charlotte. You could have that express lane that you utilize that takes you down from Morrisville all the way down. It's up to you if you want to utilize that or not and pay that cost. And then if you're going from the west side of the city in Gastonia, from Gastonia to Charlotte, we're looking at 30 to 45 minutes travel time, depending on traffic. That I-85 can get very, very congested over there. So I'm going to show you this real quick. We're going to go back to this slide. But this I-85 that runs from here in Charlotte, so this line here, all the way down into Gastonia, and then goes down into South Carolina here on the side, this road gets extremely congested. There are a lot of accidents on this road. There are a lot of traffic jams and just, bad weather hits, and it's terrible. The roads aren't the best, so it is a lot more to deal with. We have a client we know that lives out in that way, and it's definitely added about 10 to 15 minutes to their drive time. So it may not seem like as much mileage-wise, but it definitely creates a problem. So then when we go back to this slide, coming in from TK, which is actually a South Carolina city, it's on the other side of the border. It's not too terribly far from Charlotte, and it is, as you'll see later, one of the more popular places to live. TK is 30 to 45 minutes, depending on traffic. Sometimes you can make it a little bit less time. Harrisburg is one of our popular suburbs on the east side of Charlotte. That is 15 to 20 minutes to get into the city. That's city limits. That's not heart of city and not just anywhere in the city. It's just getting you into the city. And then Locust, which is becoming a more popular area as we grow, is 25 to 30 minutes depending on traffic. But again, those roads have some construction and they are pre-developing to get ready for the growth. So it seems like they're getting ready. Statesville to Charlotte. Now Statesville is the north side of the lake. So Lake Norman all the way at the top down to Statesville is going to be 45 minutes to an hour. That is a really long drive. We did it for years. We lived up that way, and it was extremely busy all the time. It felt like we were so far away from everything. So we didn't often go into Charlotte because of that. Now we're not normally, Jeff and I don't do a lot in the city, but it still felt like we were almost missing part of the city. So if that makes sense, it almost felt like, we don't go there because it's so far. We would go to dinner somewhere really nice, then it's an hour drive home. And that can be a very long, long date night. Not a bad thing, just a very lot of travel time, and you're trying to spend time together, not drive. So now if you're looking at the west side of the lake, which is Denver down to Charlotte, you'll get 20 to 30 minutes. Coming down that 16 is actually fantastic. It's a nice open freeway. There's not a lot of traffic. There can be during accidents as always, but for the most part, you get a really, really nice experience. It's also extremely convenient to the airport. So if you travel a lot for work, or if it's something that you feel like you might, maybe you're an airline pilot or you might need to get to the airport quickly, that might be a good option for you. Now, Jeff and I are here to help. We want you to text us. We do a free relocation analysis for anybody. Absolutely free. You give us a call, we sit down, we ask you some questions about your lifestyle, your budget, what you're looking to do, when you're looking to do it. And then we can help guide you on some cities as a whole that might be of interest to you, and just based on your hobbies. Right? If you like to play tennis, if you like to golf more, if you like to eat at fancy restaurants, if you want to not have a car and be able to get within businesses quickly, we're here to help. So give us a buzz, either shoot us a text or give us a call. Again, we're the #1 real estate relocation team in Charlotte, so we want to help you.